how did you approach writing the rock songs you were doing in your group, then writing stuff that you might use for battles, and then writing the demos and writing into Smooth? How were you changing as a writer? How did you have to change from writing rock to rap? Like, how did that work for you?
It was nothing for me because I immersed myself in the environments that I was in. When I was going to school, I'd go to keg parties and trip on acid. And, we'd be in a baseball field listening to Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. I come back home. Then we'd be in the park and we're listening to Spoonie G or Fearless Fall or whatever, It was easy. I go in my house and everybody would be, practicing their dance moves to go to a discotheque or whatever. So, I just immersed myself in everything because I had an affinity for all types of music. I loved it all. I love fusion jazz. One of my brothers was a huge fusion jazz fan, and all he used to listen to was Chick Corea, Al Di Meola, Lenny White, Billy Cobham, Return to Forever. And I became, a student of that too. So I just love it all, and I still do to this day.
Okay. And then with Johnny J, when you guys were having these talks and he decided he wanted to step away before.
What he actually did was we'd book studio time, he wouldn't show up. And then one day I'd be like, yo, where you at? And then he came out and then he told me. So then I knew. And then, I had to make a decision eventually after that.
And how did that affect your guys' relationship?
I didn't affect it at all. I love Jay. I still speak to him frequently. Not frequently, but every once in a while. And he was an incredible talent. And when I finally did get signed to Interscope, I called him up and I put him on a record called Young Stars from Nowhere, which featured Johnny J, my man Big E the Rebel, which was another pioneer in my neighborhood, another Puerto Rican brother, and a young Curious George that I met up at Def Jam through Babito. And so that was the Young Stars from Nowhere song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the great ones on Volume 1, which
thank you.
we'll be getting to in a minute. But with Smooth, who or what was Revenge Records?
Revenge Records was the substitute teacher that worked at Junior High School 109 when my boy Evil went, rest in peace again, Evil. And she wanted to make music. She was trying to make music on her own. And Evil knew about that. So she showed her the demo. She showed it to the people that were in her record pool. They said, green light, go, pressed it up, and sold a lot of copies.
Yeah, that's huge. Do you remember with the microphone feeding sample from Rakim on there, do you remember, was that added after you guys were making the song, or was that given with?
No, I had that immediately. That was in there right from the beginning.
Okay.
Rakim was my favorite MC then. I used to have mind you, I used to take the bus with LL Cool J. I used to take the Q3A when he used to go to Cut Creator's house. And he'd come from Canberra Heights and I'd jump on 107th Ave and Springfield Boulevard. And then we'd go up, up towards Hillside Avenue. And then we'd go our separate ways. But then sometimes at the end of the night, he'd go to a club. I went to a club and then we'd be on the same bus coming back home, going to the same neighborhood.
Cambria Heights, that's all the Haitians. There you go.
Well, no, and Queensville too. There's a lot. Yeah. Jamaica, Queens, it's funny. There was a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Haitians. It was a very Caribbean-based neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been there many times. Now with Smooth, I wanted you to break down, because even though I think it's not viewed this way, you had a lot of like social commentary in there. I don't think it's viewed as like a political song or whatever because of the vibe of it.
I know exactly what you're talking about right now, because here was the thing. When I originally started out rapping, and man, if I would have continued on that path, I would have been a legend. I mean, they say good things about me now and everything, but I was the first drug dealer rapper that I ever knew in my life. So let's think about, what do you think the first like drug dealing rap song was? Was it 6 in the Morning, or was it PSK by Schoolie D, like, or one of those?
Well, Schoolie definitely talked about using drugs too.
Right,
So
yeah, absolutely.
it was because PSK, he would definitely was talking about that world in a way that I'd never heard it before. Because
Right.
the difference that Schoolie did, and I talk about this in my book, The History of Gangster Rap, but he switched it from what Melly Mel and them and Curtis Blow were like
Yeah,
observing.
anti.
Well, no, they were observing what was happening, and
Right.
Schoolie
But
said,
they tell you, don't do it. Don't do it.
yeah, Melly Mel, of course.
Right.
But that to me was the difference, that he made it about him. He was the one with the gun, with the coke, with the weed. Right. Whereas they were all like watching the drug dealer. He was the dealer. He was the gang member.
Right. So bust this out. It's early 1987.
Oh, and he did it on Gucci Time too. People forget that.
Oh yeah, Gucci Time too. Of course, I used to be up in Latin Quarters. Both of those songs, we used to call like, and he ended up calling it too. That was dust music, and we was presently smoking dust at that time. But just think about this: early 1987. You see the rhyme skill of those individuals then, and the records they made. I don't know what year 6 in the Morning came out.
86. You know? 86.
86. Okay. And then Schoolie D's was Gucci Time?
85.
85. Okay. Definitely the first dudes to drop gangster records.
Yeah, so look at it this way. You got Schoolie D with PSK and Gucci Time 85.
Right.
6 in the Morning, 86 by Ice-T, and then 87 is Boys in the Hood by Eazy-E, N.W.A.
Right.
So that's the three.
Okay. So you got two California guys and you got a Philly guy, right?
With New Jersey sprinkled in.
Huh?
With Jersey sprinkled in for Ice, but yes.
Yeah. Well, he was out there already. So think about, I'm writing all these, I've been writing gangster rhymes since 86, right? Everybody's like, yo, you got to stop doing that. Don't you see, Run DMC don't do that. LL don't do that. And, and we're in the shadows of them. They don't do that, but I loved it. But I could go back and tell you real quickly, this was a rhyme that I had in 1987. Now look at the skill sets of those guys and listen to what I'm saying, right? So I said, Prince with the power and I'm showered in gold. I got 1187 Cadillacs on the road. Went in the bin with no bail. Had 30 G's on the scale. I must be gifted cause they lifted every case in the jail. They call me talk of the town. They call me king with the crown. The rock roller suave bowler and I'm laying it down. I'm being followed by vice. Fooling feds cause I'm nice. My system roaring wine pouring Nitty on ice. That's how I was spitting in 87.
Wow.
And everybody said, no, it was just like, I was a Puerto Rican drug rap run.
Wow.
But everybody said you weren't allowed to do it. I mean, I had so many. I got an eighth of blow, a pack of dough, a pass to the, and a backstreet hoe. So many, like it went on and on for days. And they were just like, yo, you got to stop. So when we go back to the Smooth analogy, it was, okay, I'm going to talk about drugs, but I'm going to talk about it may not be right to live that kind of lifestyle. So I compromised between the two worlds.
And how did, since people were telling you not to do what Schoolie D, Ice-T, Eazy-E were doing, yeah. And even I guess KRS-One to a degree, but how did you find that people reacted differently once you were like, oh, must I sell to do well? Must I do
right.
You know?
They reacted fucking great. I can't complain. And I was like, wow, you guys are probably were right. But the thing that struck me really hard is like when N.W.A came out, like before Boys in the Hood, when the whole Straight Outta Compton album came out and everything, I was like, damn, man, that's what I really wanted to be doing.
Yeah, but the irony of all of this, and to your exact point, is think about Rakim. I used to be a stick-up kid. I used to roll up. This is a hold up, and nothing funny. Stop smiling, cause still did not move but the money. But then he flipped it. But now I learn to earn because I'm righteous.
Yeah.
But
I feel great.
but I always thought that was interesting because then at the end of Smooth, you sounded like angry, like society was taking these things from your hands. So like, what if you were?
Then I was just like, but I'm a chill man and play smooth type shit. Yeah, yeah.
And that's what Schoolie D did on PSK. Because remember, he had the gun and he was going to shoot the dude, but he said, I don't want to do the time with my educated mind and all that stuff.
Oh, I don't even remember that part. Okay.
But Schoolie D did it, Rakim did it, and obviously Ice-T in particular was very anti all this stuff. And even Ice Cube on Dope Man, if you smoke cane, you a stupid motherfucker. I mean, it was all there.
Smoking cane, you are a stupid motherfucker, but you know, hey, don't let me get started. And I'm not gonna get started on this because everybody knows, and we ain't got to go into it. When crack came out in the beginning, it was a celebrated drug. It was not, oh my God, you're smoking crack, don't do it. No, it was just like, this is the shit. Yo, sprinkle it on a blunt. Let's smoke a wooler. Oh shit, yeah. That was the shit. But then, 6 months later, it was that quick. It was just like, holy shit, motherfuckers is just doing that now. We ain't going out to a party no more. We ain't calling up girls to go chill. Like they just immerse themselves in that lifestyle. And that's when, we started all separating.
Yeah. Well, as for Smooth, in the video, how did you guys, or what made you guys go between the black and white and color? Because I thought that was kind of cool how you guys did that. And it wasn't, no one was doing it, but it wasn't that normal.
Right. Well, it had nothing to do with us at all. We actually didn't bring in hardly any ideas for Smooth. That was all a woman that she used to be the girlfriend of a guy that we used to go to the studio with. He had this studio called Soundtrack City Studios. Excuse me. And it was on Lafayette Street between Broome and Grand. And his girlfriend was a woman back then by the name of Pamela Burkhead. And Pamela Burkhead went on to do some very big, great videos, but we were her first video. And so that was all her idea. Everything. Okay. The only thing that was my idea was having all my friends roll up with their cars at the end. And so I can get everybody in the video at least.
And in the Smooth video, you got the white Mets jacket. So how and why did you wear it? How and why did you wear
white Mets starter jacket, by the way.
So what made you wear that and what's going on with that? What happened to that jacket?
I wore it for a while. It was my signature piece in my wardrobe. I love the Mets. I'm just always been a Met fan. And as you can see, still rocking with the Mets. First place, baby. Let's go. That's how I really wanted to dress the whole entire video. But like I said, I was taking cues from Pamela. And then she put us in the paisley shirts and stuff like that. And, I really wasn't that mad at it because so many people liked it. And those printed paisley shirts were very popular at the time. And you've seen a lot of guys in rap videos wearing that at that moment. I remember Brand Nubian Feels So Good. They did a couple of dance steps in that paisley shirts on. So, Powerule did it too. So, it was just a sign of the times. It wasn't actually what I really wanted to do, but by the time I got to Brick in the Wall, you saw what I really was. The jean suits, the gold chain, the T-shirts, the bandanas, stuff like that. That was more of what I was about. I got a little bit more control at that time.
Okay. And on the Smooth single, I remember it saying the Rock Art and the X-Ray Style was going to be the album. So what happened to that album title?
We got signed. So Babito actually it was saw Chuck D at a show in Long Island. He came up to me actually and my boy Axe, and he said, "Yo, I see what y'all do out there. I like that. Yo, call this guy." We had no phones to put in, like wrote down the number. and it happened to be Bobbito Garcia. So I went up to Def Jam, met Bobbito. Bobbito ended up knowing Carmelita Sanchez out there from where you're from, and Jerry Davis. They had to deal with Interscope. So between that and Stuart Copeland from IRS Records, and like 2 other labels at the time. But I was rocking with Bobbito, and I decided to go with Bobbito suggested, and we signed out there with Interscope.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so the whole thing with Dale, where that was going to be the name of an album, it changed, and then once we signed with Interscope, then we just came up with Powerule Volume 1. Okay.
Yeah, because I always thought that was an intriguing title, and
that's a dope ass title, man. And I might even, you know, she passed away too, I think, from a brain aneurysm. So there's a lot of people that have lost throughout these years, you know, like all of us. But like when you see, like I used to see it on MTV, and then it would say, what is it? Rap some shit in an X-ray style, something.
Rock art.
What it was actually.
Rock art and the X-ray style.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. It's a good one. But yeah, but God, I'd be watching MTV too and see that shit, and I'd be like, ooh, that's dope. It never happened though.
And I want you to listen real close to me. I'm going to ask you some real simple questions, and I want some real simple answers. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You said that you couldn't have possibly been at the crime scene at 11:15 because you were in the bookstore buying my audio book and my hardcover book at 11:15 when the crime scene occurred in Soren's book.
The history of gangster rap.
So you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying the books.
Right. At 11:15, I was at the bookstore at 11:15, and when I bought the books and accidentally left them at the store.
So at 11:15, you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying books, right?
At 11:15, when I was leaving, it was some people coming in, and I forgot to grab.
But you don't remember who
what they look like,
what they look like, or nothing, right?
No.
So. At 12:15, you in the bookstore buying my audio book and hardcover book and Soren's book at 12:15. So you couldn't have been at the scene because you were buying the books, right?
Yeah, at 12 exactly. At 12:15 exactly, I was at the bookstore.
Now you see. You know you done fucked up.
What you mean?
First you said you were at the bookstore at 11:15, and then you said it was 12:15. You know you done fucked up, man.
He fucked up.
Yeah, he fucked up. He fucked up.
Man, you confusing me, man.
So, you get my book, my audio book, 40 years in Soren's book, History of Gangster Rap, and if you don't, you know you done fucked up, right?
Man, the more those cops ask me questions, the more I wish I bought the motherfucking books.